Let's talk about 3 toxic things that destroy your well being. Hey, I'm Heather, your certified high performance coach. As a high performer, these 3 things that I'm going to talk to you about today, I've done a lot of work in. That being said, it's still something that I'm constantly working at because they do not go away. So let's jump into it. The first thing is toxic thoughts. So take a few minutes and think about what toxic or negative thoughts do you constantly have? What interrupts your mind and therefore destroys your well-being? Reflect on that. Maybe take a few moments to journal on it or talk to a spouse or someone who is in your trusted circle and just start to identify what those negative thoughts are and where they come from, what they're connected with. Maybe the toxic thoughts are connected to someone that you talk with or scrolling on social media and seeing a certain profile or profiles. Maybe it is something that came up in parenting or with your significant other. Think about and start to identify where those negative thoughts start to creep in. It's estimated that we have about 80% of the same thoughts yesterday as we do today. That's a lot, 80%. So if we have 80% of the same thoughts yesterday that we do today, and a lot of them are negative and toxic, and then we're adding on more toxic thoughts today, think about how much that is draining and destroying your well-being. So once you've identified them, start to strategize how you can start shifting your mindset into a positive one. Now, that is easier said than done, and I completely understand this because I was there once too. But the trick is to first identify them and catch them, and then start slowly shifting them. For me, I like to label them. Maybe it's a saboteur or a judgment that came in, and then I start to pick it apart and decide for myself, is that true? Is there evidence that that thought is true? 9.9 times out of 10, the answer is no. The next thing is toxic people. So maybe you have a toxic person or toxic people in your life or in your past life that you can easily identify and relate to me on this one. Toxic people drain our energy so much and therefore also drain our well-being. When we have toxicity in our lives at a constant, it's really, really hard to get away from it. So again, if you haven't figured out who that is, because sometimes they are in disguise and you don't realize that a toxic person in your life is in fact toxic. So think about what your body is telling you and take a few moments to just reflect on and be in tune with how your body is telling you yes or nope. So when you're thinking about your energy and your feelings, maybe when you're around a certain person or people that you haven't quite yet identified as toxic, if you walk away from that situation feeling drained and completely out of energy, that could be a red flag that that person brings some toxicity to your life. So pay attention to that. Again, identify it, because without self-awareness, we can't grow. Once you've identified who those people are, and maybe you already have by the first moment that I even said toxic people, you said, oh yeah, definitely. Start to strategize ways that you can draw boundaries with that person. Because maybe it's not a situation where you can just up and not have that person in your life anymore. And maybe it is. But if this person is still in your life on a regular basis, it is so important to draw strong and healthy boundaries. Boundaries that protect your energy, boundaries that protect your well-being, those of your significant other, your family, whoever it is. I had a situation fairly recently where there was a toxic person in my life, and just every interaction, I just felt like, oh my gosh, here we go again. And the eye rolls, the deep sighs, the draining of energy, those were all warning flags that my mind and my body were telling me, ding, 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 you got to set some boundaries. And so I did. And now my interactions with that person are much more healthier because I made boundaries on where I draw the line with holding and preserving my energy. The third thing is a toxic environment. Sometimes this goes hand in hand with the toxic person. For example, if it's a work environment that you're in and it's just filled with toxicity and negativity and all these things that, again, drain us and our energy, it might be associated also with those toxic people. An environment that is toxic is also one that drains you. It could be a place or a culture that a place surrounds itself with. Like some people associate an environment with a social media platform because there's some negative ties to it. And the energy from just being on that platform drains you. So thinking about where that environment is, again, the first step is identifying it and bringing awareness to it. And then start to strategize and create some boundaries around that environment. Be creative. Think about what works for you and the situation that you're in. Is it an environment that you can just walk away from? If it isn't, think about how you can set some strong and healthy boundaries. I'd love to be able to give you some more tips on this. If you want to jump on a workshop that I have coming up, it is on Monday, February 12th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it is virtual. And one of the things we're going to be focusing on is enhancing your energy and your clarity. So if you're finding you're in this place where you're having a hard time setting boundaries and designing a life that is fulfilling and full of joy, this is a great workshop where we can talk about some more strategies and give you some more skills to work on exactly that. I hope this was helpful, and if it was, let me know in the comments of what was helpful and ways that you've identified toxic people, toxic thoughts, and toxic environments, and how you're moving forward with some strong and healthy boundaries. Take great care. Have an awesome rest of the day and the rest of the week, and I'll see you for more tomorrow. Bye.